Hi, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Mika, and I'm going to talk to you guys about responsive websites, and we'll be demoing the creation of a responsive website using Bootstrap. So to begin, you could go to your URL bar in your browser and type in getbootstrap.com, or you could go to Google and look for Bootstrap. Bootstrap. There we go. You can find Bootstrap in getbootstrap.com. So Bootstrap, what is it? It is the most popular HTML, CSS, and JS framework for developing responsive mobile-first projects on the web. Why do you want your website to be responsive? Responsive websites respond to the user's device screen size. So if you are viewing this website, for example, Get Bootstrap in a desktop, it will look like this. But if you are viewing this on a mobile site, on a mobile device, 10 years ago, you'd see it the same, and it would be very difficult to navigate through. What responsive websites do, and what Bootstrap does, is that it makes it easier for the user to actually view websites on the mobile. As you can see, it responds to the screen size. So it begins like this, and as the screen slowly gets thinner and thinner, you can actually see that the menu collapses into these menu, like so. A few years ago it would be a little bit difficult to actually do this, but Bootstrap makes it easy for anyone to actually create a responsive website. So we're gonna do one right now from scratch. Okay. First things first. We have to download Bootstrap. For this, we're gonna download version 3.3.4. You can download anything other than that, but I suggest you get the latest one, which is this version. You can either click here, or you can click here in Getting Started and download it here. So I took the liberty of downloading it very early and placed it on a folder called CMSC. So the downloadable contains 3 folders: the CSS, the fonts, the JS. Starter HTML, this one I just created a few minutes ago. CSS folder contains these files. Fonts folder contains these files. JS folder contains these files. Okay, so we're gonna work on the starter template that you can find on getbootstrap.com/getting started by clicking on examples. We're gonna try to replicate this one from scratch. Okay, there we go. So let us begin. I'm using this thing called Sublime Text as my text editor. I like it because it has color coding, and it's very convenient to use. It is for free. You can download it yourself, or you can use Notepad or any other tool that you want to use for this exercise. So I've named my website as starter.html. Like normal websites, responsive websites also have the same. So yeah, the HTML tags, head on top, and then the body. There we go. So in the body, we have the title, like normal websites. We're gonna call this starter template. Okay. So when creating responsive websites using Bootstrap, there are a few things that you have to do first. First thing is that you have to add several basic meta tags on the head. You could type it, or you could just check out a normal website with Bootstrap and just copy and paste it. I took the liberty of removing it here. So this is the 3 meta tags that we want on top. here in our head. So it's charset, HTTP equiv, and this line here. Another thing that you have to include in your head file, in your head section of the HTML document, is the link to your Bootstrap CSS. Oops, I missed the other one. There we go. So you'd ask me, how did I come about this location here in Href? This is relative to every one of us. It just so happened that my starter HTML is found in the CMSC folder, and inside the CMSC folder is this folder called CSS. This is it. And inside the folder is this thing called bootstrap.min.css. So we want that here. So that's the reason why it is written like so. So that's all the things that you have to work on, or the things that you have to do on the head section of your document. There's one last thing that you have to do though before you start coding, and that is to insert these two script tags at the bottom of your body page, or body tags. The first one, this one, is a link to jQuery. The second one is a link to the Bootstrap JS file found in the JS folder, my JS folder, js/bootstrap.min.js. Okay, so now we're ready. Everything is set. So I'm just going to save that. And I'm just going to check if this actually works. Hello world. Save. Oh. We're going to open it here. Double click on that. It started that template. Hello world. Okay, we are ready. So the first things first, we want to work on this. This is called the navbar, and it's color black. So we're going to use the class inverse for navbar. So to begin, apologize for the ambulance in the background. So to begin, we do this. So we have to name it the nav like so. Navbar dash inverse because it's dark, and since we want the navbar to be on top, we're gonna name the class navbar nav dash fix dash nap. Okay, like all tags, most tags at least, we have a closing. So in here we will place all the navigation elements: nav class, navbar, inverse, fix, dot. Inside this, we will begin with a div, and we need a container. We're going to call it container, like so. The container contains all the things that we want in the navbar, and it centers everything there. So that's why we're using it. Okay. Yes. How does that look like again? Oh, we want to have this project name available always. So we're just gonna name this like so. Class. We're gonna use the navbar brand class for this one. We want to have it. We want to have a link, but since this is a test, there won't be any specific links there. We're gonna call it the project name, I think. Project name. There we go. Okay, let's see how that looks like here. Good. There we go. Perfect. So project name is there. We need the three menus: the home, about, and contact. So how do we do that? We need active. And we're gonna have to ID it to navbar. The class would be collapse because we want this to collapse whenever the screen gets too small. Collapse. There we go. Closing tag. So menus will be using links. Lists, sorry. UL class nav bar nav. Yep, there we go. An unordered list. So since we have 3 menus to display: home, about, and contact, we need 3 lists under the unordered list. List 1. We're going to copy and paste this. List, 3 lists. And inside the list is, I think it's home, about, and contact. We're going to save this and do a refresh. How does it look like? Okay, there they are, home, about, contact. But they don't look that nice yet, so we have to add some classes. So we want the home to be active, or highlighted at least. We want to have links here. Href. Don't have a link there yet, so we're going to use this. Okay, like so. Need to copy this one here and here. There we go. Okay. It's looking like this already. So what happens if we collapse this? There you go, it collapses. But the problem is, Mika, where are the menus? That is because we forgot one thing, the button. So the button is this part here. There. So to do that, we have to add a button on our navbar. How do we do that? I will show you. So this is the project name. This is the container. We want it to be located somewhere here. Okay. Navbar header. And we want it to be closed right there. Okay. So navbar header. We want the button. So to do that, we do this. Type button as like so. And we're gonna call it, this is gonna be a long one, guys. Class navbar toggle collapsed. It will appear when it's collapsed. Data toggle collapse. Data target the navbar. Area expanded. We're gonna make it false. And area controls. Navbar. Just replicate this. Should be good to go. Oh, forgot the button closing tag. Let me see if that works. Does that work? There we go. It works. It works. But as you can see, it doesn't have the horizontal rule that we want yet. So to do that, we're going to use some spans inside the button. Okay. Span class icon dash bar close span. Perfect, that's 1. We want 3. Oh, we want 3. 2, 3. There we go. Something's wrong. I don't like this edge. I think I missed something. Yep, this should be navbar fix. Doing so would remove this edges here, and yep, fixed it right about there. Perfect. So we're ready with the navbar. Now we could go to the content. How does it look like? So Bootstrap starter template. We could just copy and paste this on the body, so it would be easier for us. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Copy, paste, save. Okay, it's not showing. How is that so? Let's put it in a container first, guys. Container. Okay, let's try this out. I understand. We have to first define inline styles. So to do that, why am I doing this? Well, because apparently, give me a moment. The text we are writing here is behind this nav bar, so we want to push it down. So for us to do that, let's work on the body first. Okay, let's add some padding on the top. 50 should be enough. There we go. Additional, I want to add something to make it look prettier, like the one in the demo. Let's add some padding here, 40 pixels, 15. We want it centered, text align, center. Okay, I think this should work. What am I missing? Oh. Yep. There we go. See the benefit of coloring. Yeah. This should be enough. This should be enough. Oh. I forgot to add on the class for this one, so you want to have it here. So I'm going to use the starter template that I just created. On top of that, div class starter template, starter dash template. There we go. Sorry. There we go. And we want Bootstrap to be big, so we're going to use H1. A header tag, like so. Then let's add some class, like so. This should work. There we go. Oh, we missed a break here. New project. So what we could do is add a break here, break of line to fix the problem. There we go. It's done. It's exactly the same, except that we use capital N for name, and it used a small n. So if you can see, it collapses and it works like a charm. Good job, guys. So let's review. First things first, 3 meta tags on top, link the Bootstrap CSS on the head, add jQuery script at the bottom of the body together with the link script of the Bootstrap JS. Create the nav bar. We start with nav class. Anything in between the nav tags will be for the navigation bar. Always have containers. This section will always be present. The button will appear when the screen collapses. It has 3 span icon bar. And we have 3 menus. This section collapses if viewed on a smaller screen. We use lists to organize the menus. So we have home, about, contact. For the other content, we just use a container, another container, created our own class, place it here, and voila, it's done. We just replicated Bootstrap template right here. So Mika, that was very easy, you would say. How about the more advanced topics? Like for example, we want to add a drop down on our nav bar. I will show you that. So we're going to modify, or we're going to move away from this template and add a drop down on our nav bar. How do we do that? So where do we want the drop down to appear? I'm thinking that we should actually put it here. So it's a menu. So we're gonna use lists again. So how do we end up with this? So we're gonna use the class drop down, like so. Okay, class drop down. So what do we want to name it? So maybe drop down. Okay, we're gonna save it and view it here. Okay, so there's a drop down, but it's not yet clean. So what do we have to do? We have to add links. There we go. Control S for save. Refresh. There we go. No drop down yet. So how do we do that? Okay, this is gonna be a long one, guys, so bear with me. We have to use different classes to produce a drop down. So we begin here. I'm gonna use the class dropdown tag. Okay, data toggle, drop down. The row will be a button, and area expanded. It's gonna be false for sure. I think that should be it. What am I missing? I think that's it. That's it. It should work fine. It's not working yet. Okay, so what am I missing here? Oh, I know. it's not working because it doesn't have anything beneath it yet. So okay, we have to put something beneath dropdown to actually create a dropdown. So how do we do that? So we're still in the list for the dropdown. So what we should do now is inside this link, let's create another set of menus. Okay, this is getting complicated, but bear with me, guys. Drop down menu. Okay, and we're gonna have a row for it. It's gonna be menu. I think this should be it. What am I missing? Okay, we're gonna close the UL. I hope this works. I'm pretty sure it will work. So we're gonna have lists and another list. It will have a URL, a link, like so. Let's put action and action reaction. There we go. I'm gonna try it out. There we go. So this is actually a usability problem. It's not obvious that this drop-down menu doesn't actually have a drop-down. So for us to resolve that problem, we should, what do we do? Usually you provide an image that points down to signal that there's actually an action to be done. But for this example, we're just going to use a span. And we're going to use the class caret. This is similar to this one. So we're going to use class caret. Should display a down. There we go. Yeah. It's now more obvious that it's actually clickable and you can actually go down. So how does this collapses? Let's test it out. There we go. Perfect. So we now have demoed the drop down. What more things could we actually put in here? I think that should be it. You guys should experiment. I just showed you how to create the starter template with the drop down, but you could actually use the many examples found in getbootstrap.com/getting started. It has examples on the different nav bars that you could actually work on, different components to work on, sign-in page. It's pretty simple. I'm just gonna show you one more thing here. So if you want to study the code for the examples, you could actually go here and right click and inspect element. Inspect element shows you the code behind the website. So if you want to understand how they actually created this part, inspect element that, and you can see that this is the code to produce this this element here. What you could do is also you can view page source. This is the whole code. You can just copy and paste it, and voila, you will have something like this. But for this one, for this example, we actually did it from scratch, and I showed you how to actually create your own responsive website. It doesn't have to be elaborate, your responsive website. All it has to do is to be able to show a website beautifully in desktop and beautifully in smaller screens like a mobile web device, in such a way that it will be easier for your users to actually navigate through the website, like so. So that concludes my demo for the responsive website using Bootstrap. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, please let us know, and we will do our best to get back to you. So thank you very much.